why your mind is louder than your ears. What inspired me to make this video is working with people and realizing that the loudness, the volume of the tinnitus did not contribute to the overall discomfort of the tinnitus. I've worked with people where the tinnitus was very low in volume, but their discomfort and their suffering was extremely high. And I've worked with people where the volume of the tinnitus was really loud, the perception of it, but the suffering was way less. Why is that? How is that? It's because your mind makes the tinnitus out to be worse than what it really is. For example, you can have really low volume tinnitus and your mind can make it out to be a nightmare, something that you can't even live with, yet you can't really hear it. On the flip side, you can have really loud tinnitus, like mine was extremely loud, but then your mind can back off and basically eliminate all of your suffering and take the tinnitus, put it into a category where your brain does not hear it anymore. It's very loud here. I live in a loud environment, but it doesn't affect my tinnitus because it doesn't affect my mind. So your mind has potential power to create a hell of suffering, a life of suffering, or a life of pleasure and a life of enjoyment, depending on what you choose to feed your mind, depending on what you focus on, depending on what you think about, depending on what you program it to react to the tinnitus. Most people, because they don't have the training, they don't have the mentorship, when they hear the tinnitus, they immediately do all of the wrong things. Obsessing about it, letting their mind spiral into worst case scenario thinking, trying to listen to it, trying to find all these remedies and cures, and none of them actually work, doing all of the wrong things. And what they do is they take their mind and they turn up the loudness of their mind. When in reality, had they just went about their life, then they probably would have recovered just fine had they not catastrophized the tinnitus and the experience of it. And so this matters so much because if we can understand that the majority of tinnitus suffering, I'll say all of it, is in your head, then what you're dealing with is an emotional and a mental condition. Now, I'm not saying the sound is in your head. The sound is very real. The perception of it is very real. The suffering, the anxiety, the I'll never get better, I can't live with this, my life is over, this sucks, this is horrible, that's all mental. That is all mental. And you may be thinking, well, if I didn't have the sound, then I wouldn't have the suffering. Yes, that is true, but you have to realize that you can't do anything about the sound, but you can do something about your brain. You can't turn the sound off, but you can turn your brain off. I help people do this through mentorship. We're not trying to stop the sound. We're not trying to control the sound. We can't do anything about that. It is what it is. But we can stop our mind from spiraling. We can stop our mind from going into these doomed scenarios and this worst case scenario thinking. We can do something about that. We have that ability. And there's a lot of techniques that we can do that I teach people. If you want to work with me one-on-one, hit the link below. If you want to come to where I'm at in the sunny tropics, and you want to work with me personally, one-on-one, I would love, you can fly here. I'll help you plan the logistics out, and I'll work with you that way. If you really want to learn how to meditate and get a life beyond tinnitus, I would love to work with you. So like I said, you don't have to suffer with it. You can't do anything about the sound, but you can do something about your brain. Your mind is louder than your ears. Your mind is louder than your ears. I don't care how quiet or how loud your tinnitus you think it is. Your suffering is in your head. That's what I'm saying. Your suffering is in your head, and there's something we can do with that. So anyway, smash the subscribe button, hit the like. If you like this video, I'll talk to you later. Peace.